It's 15:32 on the 3rd of November 2025. 80 nautical miles off the northwest coast of the Philippines, the U.S. destroyer USS John S. McCain cuts through choppy waves under a gray sky. The radar room hums then, a sudden tone. Lock-on detected! Alarms scream through the ship. Sailors sprint to battle stations as red lights flash across the deck. Through binoculars, a gray hull looms on the horizon, Chinese markings, Type 52D. Its fire control radar is aimed directly at them. For seconds that feel like hours, the American crew waits, hands on controls, unsure if the next sound will be an explosion or silence. Bridge to CIC. Weapons hold ready posture. The Spy 1D beam tightens. VLS hatches crack open a finger. McCain heels to port. Engine spooling hard. Safety lines snap tight in the wind as the ship braces for the next move. Lookouts call range and bearing. The helmsman steadies at emergency conning. Over UHF, a US. Pate amperes break squelch. Second contact closing Type 50, 4 amperes. The clock ticks in every head. One wrong twitch, steel meets steel. The South China Sea is not just blue on a map. It's a conveyor belt for fuel, food, and microchips. Every day, ships here feed cities and factories from California to Tokyo. On this patrol, the USS John S. McCain isn't picking a fight, it's proving a rule. No single flag owns these waters. Freedom of navigation sounds abstract until someone tries to box you in with steel and a fire control beam. Inside the McCain, the air is cool and tense. Sailors move in clipped steps, headsets tight, eyes on scopes. The Aegis system tracks the Type 52D radar logs, filtering noise from intent. One line on a screen can mean watch or brace. Rules of engagement are clear but narrow signal. Warn, de-escalate, survive. The commander weighs posture versus misread pride. Gray zone pressure works by pushing inches until inches become a cliff. Overhead, a US Pate amperes circles, relaying bearings that paint the trap. A Chinese Type 54 amperes frigate closes the gap, turning sea room into a corridor. 80 nautical miles off the Philippines is far from home, but close to treaty lines. Allies judge resolve in moments like this. If the McCain yields, lanes look weaker. If it holds too hard, a near miss can become a global headline and a very real casualty list. Insurance spikes. Crews pay the price. Lookouts call ranges in yards now, not miles. Engines are ready to kick astern if steel charges steel. On repeaters, SPY-1D tightens its picture. VLS hatches are set to ready without crossing the line. Radios crackle with firm, careful words designed to cool hot edges. Two great powers are inches apart, and the ocean suddenly feels small. If you were there, would you hold the line or back off? Drop 1 to stand your ground, or 9 to pull away. The crew can't vote, but you can. 15:37, 5 minutes after the first lock-on alert, tension on the USS John S. McCain has hardened into muscle memory. Every station hums at full readiness. The SPY-1D radar tracks both Chinese ships, Type 52D to starboard, Type 54 amperes closing in from the bow. The distance, 400 yards and shrinking. The ocean between them is barely a football field of churning gray water. Helm, steady course 210. The McCain's commander keeps his voice flat, eyes fixed on the tactical display. Weapons open covers, hold launch authority. The crew knows what that means, ready to fire, but don't. The destroyer's Aegis screen fills with electronic noise as the Chinese radar pulses sweep stronger. A spike of light marks an intentional lock, the digital equivalent of a shove in the chest. The McCain responds in kind. SPY-1D narrows its beam, locking back on the Type 52D targeting array. It's a warning, not a trigger. The sea's surface flares with reflections of blinking beacons, like two boxers circling under floodlights. Neither willing to throw the first punch, but both daring the other to flinch. The Type 54 amperes now cuts close, too close. Only 150 yards off the McCain's port bow, its wake slams into the American hull, pitching sailors sideways. Reverse thrust. The order hits instantly. The McCain's engines roar in reverse, sending plumes of white spray aft as the destroyer backs away just in time. On the bridge, adrenaline burns hotter than the diesel. Metal groans. Safety cables quiver. Sailors grip handrails as the distance widens by meters. For a long minute, the world holds its breath. Two warships, locked eye to eye, neither speaking, both daring the other to move first. Over encrypted comms, the Pate Ampere's voice cuts in. Chinese vessels maintaining lock. No launch signatures. Its information barely comfort. The commander exhales, eyes steady. Maintain position. They blink first. His tone isn't bravado, it's calculation. The longer they hold, the higher the risk. But retreat once, and you invite the next shove closer. Below deck, sailors whisper prayers. Above, the wind howls between flags that won't dip. The ocean, restless moments ago, now feels like glass taut, waiting for the first crack. The McCain holds her line, her presence saying what words can't. This sea stays open. 1548. The standoff stretches into its second act. The South China Sea has gone eerily quiet, save for the low growl of engines and the slap of waves between hulls. Both ships are motionless, but beneath the surface, every circuit, every radar pulse is alive. The McCain's Aegis array tracks hundreds of returns per second. Each ping could be a seagull or the start of something far worse. Then a new tone cuts through the calm. Additional emitter detected. Calls the electronic warfare officer. Another Chinese radar. Different frequency shore-based. That means land-based targeting support, possibly from the paracels. The circle just got wider. So they're painting us from the coast now, mutters a petty officer, half disbelief, half anger. Stay cool, the commander says. This is the play they escalate pressure until someone cracks. His eyes flick to the comm screen where both sides exchange clipped radio messages, each word parsed for weakness. The McCain's bridge crew keeps responses tight, professional. U.S. Navy warship conducting lawful operations in international waters. No emotion, no bait. But under that calm, hearts pound. The Chinese destroyer shifts position 10 degrees closer. Bow on. Its massive Type 346 amperes radar faces directly at the McCain. That's not a signal, it's a dare. The American crew feels it in their bones. Angle 245, the commander orders. The ship rolls slightly as it maneuvers, shrinking its radar profile. Guns track silently. Sailors check safeties twice. Through binoculars, a Chinese sailor stands visible on deck, phone in hand, recording. He knows the footage will play back somewhere as proof of dominance. But on the McCain, the crew doesn't flinch. Every second they hold their line, they deny that story it's ending. Minutes stretch like wire. Both captains are gambling with pride and patience, trying to win without firing. The sea becomes the stage, and silence the weapon. One side will blink, and the world will read meaning into that blink for years. If you were watching this unfold, which side would you bet on to hold longer? Press 1 for the McCain or 9 for the plan. Your choice marks your line in this standoff. 1559. Just when it seems the standoff can't stretch tighter, the unexpected happens. The Type 52D radar suddenly powers down. The eerie tone vanishes. For a second, the McCain's crew exhales then. A flash. A small drone bursts skyward from the Chinese destroyer's aft deck, skimming just above the waves. New contact, low altitude, fast, shouts the air defense officer. This isn't a missile. It's a test. The kind of gray zone move designed to see how far the U.S. will react before calling it aggression. Hold fire, the commander says, jaw set. Track it only. The drone zips across the McCain's bow at 200 knots, close enough that its rotor noise vibrates through the hull. The crew knows this stance. It's a provocation meant to make them twitch. One wrong radar lock or gun rotation, and China can paint it as escalation. The Pate Amperes above confirms drone unarmed, no payload. Still, the risk is real. The Chinese are showing how easily they can cross a line without technically breaking one. They're not testing our weapons, mutters a sailor. They're testing our nerves. The commander doesn't answer. Seconds later, the drone reappears, lower this time, slipping into the destroyer's blind arc. The McCain's CIWS spins to ready RPM. barrels tracking but caged. The MiG-45 gun slews a fraction and stops. Over the net, the rules are read again like a prayer. Weapons tight. Do not laze. Maintain deconfliction. Every restraint is deliberate proof that the ship can stand in the pocket without throwing a punch. For the McCain, it's clear the game has changed. Gray zone tactics are no longer just ships, shadowing ships. They're layered, silent, psychological. The question isn't whether someone fires first, but who blinks hardest. And in this sea, hesitation can look just like weakness. 16-6. The air feels electric. Both ships now drift within visual range barely 300 yards apart. Every sensor, every lens, every human eye is locked on the other. The Type 52D radar flares again, brighter this time. On the McCain, the threat receivers spike. Lock-on confirmed, direct fire control. The words slice through the air like a knife. For a heartbeat, everything stops, then action erupts. All stations brace. The commander grips the console. VLS covers snap fully open. The Spy 1D beam locks hard on the Chinese destroyer. Both ships now stand on a razor's edge. One misread signal, one twitch of a finger, and the South China Sea could explode. The paint amperes above radios. Multiple radar uplinks, detected shore batteries active. It's no longer just two ships. The horizon itself has joined the fight. The McCain holds. Weapons hold. Maintain bearing. His voice is steady, almost calm. If they want a picture, give them discipline. The ship turns slightly, bow facing open sea, keeping the Chinese radar in view but offering no strike angle. Metal groans under the strain. Sailors whisper silent curses into their mics. One mutters, "We're staring at the barrel, sir." The commander answers quietly, "So are they." Suddenly, a burst of static fills the net. The Chinese frigate Type 54 amperes veers too close. Its bow wake sprays across the McCain's deck. Klaxons wail. Engines reverse hard. For seconds, it's chaos. Water, alarms, shouting. Then the two ships drift apart barely. The moment passes, but the message is clear. Both sides were one breath from war. The sea falls silent again. Both crews wait for orders that don't come. Above, the drone from earlier reappears, hovering motionless between them like an uninvited witness. Its camera glints once, twice, and then vanishes into cloud. Nobody moves, nobody wins, but neither side yields. In this instant, it's not about weapons or strategy, it's about who blinks. The McCain holds her line. The plan withdraws a hair's breadth, just enough to breathe again. If you were watching from the sky, whose restraint would you call courage? Press 1 for the McCain or 9 for the plan. Your choice decides who truly won this round. 1647. The sea returns to its normal rhythm, slow, steady, deceptively calm. The Type 52D and its escort turn east, throttles rising as they head back toward the horizon. On the McCain, the klaxons finally fall silent. The crew exhales as one, the air thick with the smell of metal, salt, and adrenaline. The tension doesn't break, it just fades into exhaustion. In the Combat Information Center, sailors log every detail: radar frequencies, bearing changes, heat signatures. To the untrained eye, it's data. To them, it's evidence, a record of the closest near-war encounter in the South China Sea since 2018. The commander leans against the console, eyes fixed on the empty horizon. "They wanted to see how far we'd bend," he murmurs. "Now they know we don't." Above, the Pate Amperes banks west, relaying the event to command. Within hours, analysts in Hawaii and Washington will dissect every second: who moved first, who held longer, whose radar blinked last. And somewhere across the strait, another team will do the same. Each side walks away convinced they proved resolve. But the truth sits in the middle, somewhere between discipline and danger. News of the lock-on spreads fast. Commentators call it the most serious naval confrontation in years. Allies praise the restraint, rivals call it a warning. The South China Sea, calm on the surface, now hums with a new tension. More ships, more patrols, more chances for one slip to rewrite history. The McCain sails on, her wake trailing behind like a scar across the gray water. For the sailors aboard, today isn't victory, it's survival. They didn't win by firing, they won by not having to. Still, everyone knows this was only one round. The next encounter will come, and next time, hesitation may not look like strength. If you think holding the line took more courage than firing first, press 1. If you believe power means striking before being struck, press 9. Either way, remember out here, every decision shapes tomorrow's calm or tomorrow's war. It's 5:30 on the 27th of September 2025. Out on the Philippine Sea, alarms echo across the decks of USS America, LHA-6. Marines from the 31st MEU sprint to stations as flight crews race for the hangar. The air shudders, the first MB-22B Osprey engines howl, blades carving the dawn. On the bridge, officers lock onto radar returns. Faint, fast, closing. The drill just turned real. Outside, the sun lifts a thin line of light, but tension drowns it. Deck crews crouch behind safety nets. Hand signals cut through rotor wash. Dragons, ready up. VMM-265 checks. Radios, fuel, and loads. Every second is a choice. Launch now and they gain distance and options. Wait, and they risk being trapped on steel. The ship leans into the swell, the bow throwing spray like glass. Sirens dip, then rise bearing shifts, range compresses. The next minute decides everything. Lift, clear the deck, form up, or get caught mid-turn. Survival hangs on speed, discipline, and nerve. No one blinks. Go. The Philippine Sea is more than water. It's the Indo-Pacific's highway where tankers and cargo move fuel, chips, and food that power life at home. Today, USS America and the 31st MEU train here for one reason: move Marines from sea to shore fast. No runway required. The 7th Fleet guards these lanes because when they stall, the shock hits every household. Prices jump, schedules slip, allies hedge. Deterrence isn't a speech. It's a ship you can see, an aircraft you can launch. Every launch is a signal. To friends, it says the US can reach far and respond quickly. To rivals over the horizon, it warns that distance isn't safety. The Osprey is the point of that spear. It lifts like a helicopter and flies like an airplane, letting Marines hop islands and bypass choke points. In crisis, speed and choice mean survival. Mobility turns scattered blue water into a network the US can use. The danger is real. Land-based missiles, drones, and fast boats aim to box ships in and flood defenses. Geography favors the attacker. Long coasts, tight straits, crowded traffic. To counter, America disperses forces, pushes scouts forward, and pairs ships with aircraft that can change plans mid-flight. Drills like this stitch the pieces together, deck crews, pilots, Marines rehearsing timing until it clicks. A clean deck cycle shaves minutes. Minutes decide whether a formation lands safe or breaks. People carry the weight. Sailors read wind across steel. Crew chiefs feel each rotor. Pilots fly low to hide in clutter. It's training, but no one shrugs. The cameras on the horizon won't. If you think striking first keeps these lanes open, press 1. If holding fire builds strength and buys time, press 9. 5:45. The sea is calm, but radar isn't. The combat system flashes new tracks multiple. Fast, approaching from low altitude. On the flight deck, the first Ospreys are still climbing. If they're caught exposed, the whole drill collapses. The commander reacts instantly. Launch defenses now. The first move. The ship fires its standard missiles, long-range shields meant to break the opening punch. Trails streak upward, vanishing into clouds. Seconds later, bursts flash high above intercepts. Each one buys precious time for the Ospreys already airborne to gain distance. Then comes the second layer. The ship's close-in weapons roar to life. ESSMs, shorter-range missiles arc outward, covering gaps left by the first salvo. Every launch is a gamble. Fire too soon, waste a shot. Too late, and the target slips through. On the radio net, the Dragons coordinate with 7th Fleet watchstanders. Air patrols and escorts shift positions. No blind spots allowed. The horizon lights up with explosions bright against gray dawn. For a moment, the crew feels relief. But new returns pop up faster this time. More drones, small but persistent, weaving through clutter. Contacts, bearing 260, closing. The call echoes through the ship. Pressure rises. The Ospreys keep lifting. Marines strap in tight as tilt rotors push forward, trusting the ship to hold the line behind them. From the cockpit, pilots see plumes in the distance, defense missiles climbing, detonating, burning out. They know every intercept means survival. Every miss means risk. On deck, sailors rearm launchers, scramble for reloads. Eyes fixed skyward. Training shifts into instinct. Instinct cuts seconds from reload cycles. The battle rhythm builds. Bridge to combat. Bravo, plan now. Chaff blooms rip the air as a decoy, spools out astern and steals a seeker's lock. The EW team floods the band with noise. One contact fades, then blinks back weaker. The helmsman swings 2 degrees port, narrowing the ship's shape. Overhead 2 F-35 check in, sprinting to cap the inbound stream. If they're late, the line breaks. The first wave has been checked, but the crew knows it's only the beginning. More are coming, faster, closer. And if one gets through, the Ospreys in the air and the Marines aboard them are the ones at risk. 6. Relief fades quickly. New blips streak across radar, closer, lower, harder to hit. Several enemy drones slip through the outer net. The ship shifts tactics. Hard turn starboard 10 degrees. The bow cuts into the swell, angles tighten. Narrowing its profile by fractions of seconds, fractions that mean survival. CIWS cannons thunder. Vulcan barrels spin and spit streams of tracers into the haze. One drone explodes, then another, but a third keeps coming. Gunners adjust, squeeze, fire again. Shards rain into the sea. The deck vibrates with each burst, a reminder that no defense is perfect. Above, Ospreys push farther out. Marines grip rifles, strapped into seats. Every shake of the fuselage reminds them the ship behind them is still fighting to keep the skies open. Their mission depends on it. On the bridge, officers weigh every option. Missiles cost millions, drones cost thousands, an uneven fight. Conserve shots, the weapons officer warns, but don't miss. Every decision is a knife's edge. Save a missile and risk a hit, or fire early and run dry. The crew shifts to layered defense. Decoys bloom, cannons track, radar locks, and sailors reload as fast as hands can move. Every station works in rhythm. Detection, lock, fire, reload, repeat. In CIC, operators ride the scopes. A lookout calls a sea skimmer in the chop. Increase to 22 knots. Speed adds wind across the deck, good for launch. Tough on aim. Then, a near miss. A drone dives for the deck. The CIWS swings, fires, and hits barely in time. Smoke lingers where metal shattered yards away. Damage control teams snap visors down. Medics stand ready. No panic, just discipline. Dragons 2-1. Full state green. Request corridor. Corridor green, keep low, keep fast. A lane opens and the formation punches through. Rotors biting clean air. Guns glow, loaders swap belts, smoke clings to the waterline. The horizon keeps spitting contacts. The pattern is clear. Rivals are testing range, speed, and nerves. Each wave pushes closer, forcing choices, bleeding resources. The crew knows the next wave could be bigger. The test is only starting. And here's where you weigh in. If you believe the US should hit harder and strike forward to stop the waves, press 1. If you think holding steady and conserving fire shows true strength, press 9. 6:20. Just when the crew finds rhythm, the fight shifts. Radar flares with a new pattern. These aren't high drones or slow skimmers. They're smaller, faster, hugging the surface so tight they vanish in clutter. Operators squint targets, flicker in and out. Hard to track, hard to kill. New contacts bearing 180. Range closing fast. The call cuts sharp. The commander knows. This is the twist. The enemy is adapting, forcing change. CIWS batteries open up, but the new wave moves like wasps. Vulcan fire slashes the sea, hitting some, missing others. The bridge shudders with each near pass. They're probing for weak spots. The XO warns. Deploy Asset 3. Now. The ship calls its rolling airframe missiles, fast interceptors built for swarms. Launchers elevate, lock, fire. Streaks skim low across the horizon. One drone breaks apart, another veers, a third dives into the waves. But the pace is brutal. The ship maneuvers tighter, throwing spray across the deck. Crew brace against steel walls, gripping rails as the vessel twists to spoil enemy aim. Air fills with smoke, tracers, burnt powder. Seconds stretch long. Each contact comes close, too close. If one slips through, the hit is direct. Everyone knows the margin is razor thin. The Ospreys, now clear, bank wide toward their objective. Pilots glance back once the America's still fighting, wrapped in fire and noise, holding the line so they can move forward. The twist is here. The enemy adapts, pressing closer with swarms meant to overwhelm, and the ship must answer or fall. 6:40. The last wave closes in. This is it, the make or break moment. The ship's sensors scream warnings. The CIC floor hums with tension. Dozens of small tracks swarm toward the America, faster than anything so far. The crew braces. Engage all batteries. The order cracks through. CIWS guns roar, spitting fire and blinding arcs. Tracers slash across the horizon. One drone erupts, another shatters mid-air, but others keep charging. The sea boils with fragments, smoke, and spray. Ram launchers fire in bursts, streaks of light carving the wave. Explosions ripple. For a heartbeat, the sky clears, then more dive from low angles, hugging the water. EW floods the band with noise. A decoy drags two seekers wide, splashing into whitecaps. The ship rolls hard. Steel groans as the hull cuts swell, spray sweeping the deck. Sailors grip rails, loaders slam belts, gunners scream bearings. Above, two F-35s slice through, knocking out a control node. The stream falters, but not enough to end it. The ship fights like a living thing, every system stretched, every man at his limit. Close target, bearing 275. The alarm is deafening. A drone streaks inside the last layer. CIWS swivels, barrels blazing, tracers stitch the water impact. Fireball. The bridge shutters. Damage control reports. Shrapnel scars, antennas intact, crew green. Still, another drone presses in. Too close, too fast. CIWS spins, firing non-stop. The ship rattles as the last burst rips it apart yards from the hull. The explosion throws spray across the bow, drenching the deck. Smoke clings to the air. Silence, then nothing on radar. For a moment, the crew breathes. The Ospreys are clear, Marines on course, and the America still afloat. But the cost is heavy. Magazines are lighter, systems strained, nerves raw. Chiefs check heat on barrels. Medics sweep stations. Alarms reset. Everyone knows the enemy will return. The question is, when and in what strength? The horizon is calm again, but only for now. The crew wipes sweat, reloads, and braces for the next strike. And now it's your call. If you believe America's will to fight head-on will always hold the line, press 1. If you think swarm tactics will eventually break through, press 9. Drop your answer and stay with us for what comes next. 7. The fight is over for now. USS America steadies, smoke curling from her guns, spray dripping down steel. Deck crews move slow, checking damage, patching what they can. The Ospreys are gone over the horizon, Marines pushing forward. The mission continues, but the clash left scars. Result: the ship survived, but it cost. Magazines are lighter, barrels hot, nerves raw. Sailors carry the weight of every close call. They know one missed burst could have sunk them. For the US, this proves defense holds. Layers work. Drills matter. America shows it can fight through waves and keep sea lanes open. Allies see the line held. The Pacific stays open. But the enemy adapts. Cheap drones force costly defenses. Each wave is cheaper to send than to stop. The math favors the attacker. And next time, it may not be drones. It could be missiles from the coast, subs in the deep, or swarms doubled in size. The message is clear. This was rehearsal for the real thing. Tomorrow's wave could be stronger, smarter, and America must pay the price again. Impact. Allies trust the U.S. presence, but see the challenge growing. Rivals learn and sharpen. Every clash is more than survival, it's a fight for initiative in the Indo-Pacific. Tonight, the Americas stood firm. The sea stayed open, but the horizon holds questions. Will the next strike break the shield, or will the U.S. adapt faster? Below decks, engineers rotate crews, swap scorched barrels, log every fault. Pilots debrief from Ospreys, passing target cues they saw. Signalers scrub recordings. Intel maps launch points along the coast. Logistics officers crunch the math shots. Fired, hits scored, minutes saved by tighter cycles. Commanders tweak the playbook. More dispersal, deception, faster reloads, counter-swarm tactics, allies closer at hand. Each note written in salt and smoke. This is deterrence as grind, not headline won in inches, kept by practice. And here's where you come in. If you believe America's resolve will always keep the Pacific free, press 1. If you think enemy swarms will eventually overwhelm, press 9. Comment your choice and subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter.